Hi, today I want to talk about the new baseline. So, there's a moment that often passes almost unnoticed when the system stops trying to return to how things used to feel. Nothing dramatic marks it. There isn't a decision, a breakthrough, or a sense of resolution. Instead, something quieter happens. The expectation of a returning to a previous level of ease simply begins to fall away. And what once felt temporary starts to feel normal. Most people interpret this as a loss at first, because we tend to measure ourselves against how things used to feel. When that reference point starts to fade, it can feel like something has diminished. But over time, the urgency to get back to the past softens. Not because things improve, but because the system recalibrates. And when it does, the baseline shifts and the mind begins to orient itself around what's actually available rather than what was once familiar. Spinoza described this in terms of the mind adjusting to its perception according to its new power of acting. When power stabilizes, perception stabilizes with it. The mind stops comparing the present to the past, not because it's decided to, but because the comparison no longer feels necessary. From the outside, nothing may look different, but internally, the constant questioning begins to quiet. The sense that things should feel different loses urgency. The system is no longer divided between expectation and reality. And that reduction in conflict creates a quieter form of stability. Now, neuroscience describes something similar through predictive regulation. The brain constantly updates its expectations based on what is sustainable. When there's a mismatch between expectation and actual capacity, we experience tension. But once the brain updates its predictions, the sense of coherence returns. Not because capacity has increased, but because expectation has aligned with reality. This alignment often feels ordinary, which is why it's easy to overlook. There isn't a sense of achievement or improvement. There's just less internal noise. You can notice it when the constant mental comparisons begin to fade. Earlier, you may have found yourself thinking about how things used to feel, how they should feel, or how they might feel again. Over time, those thoughts lose their intensity, not because they become resolved, but because the system has accepted its current range.